Hello and welcome to this interview with my dear friend Lara Waldman. My name is Karina Ladet. I'm an intuitive channel, a healer, and a mentor for conscious entrepreneurs. And I'm super excited that Lara is here. Hi, Lara.
Nice to be here.
So Lara is a healer, a mentor, and the author of Money Manifestation Mastery. And she's really good with anything connected to money, abundance, and everything that's connected to that. So her work goes really, really deeply. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about who you are and what you do in the world, Lara.
I'd love to. Thank you for having me. So my passion is really to help people connect to who they truly are. I call it your soul or your higher self, and help to bring that out into the world in every area of your life, including your business. And I found that is an amazing vehicle to help us do that. So I talk about money, soul purpose, how to really show up for gifts and to share your gifts in the world. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, and it's really amazing. So I've taken Lara's program, I've got her book, and I'm a really big fan because I found a lot of money work and abundance work that I've seen or done, it doesn't go deep enough for what I would like to, because sometimes we start just wanting to explore our money stories because we need to make more money in our businesses or start making money in our businesses. But once we start exploring, it's actually connected to so much more. So it's a really fascinating topic. And so Lara, I would love, because I think you have a really beautiful business, and I know that you're not only working all the time. So I would love to know what your pillars for having a successful and sustainable business that you actually enjoy being inside of.
Cool. Well, so yeah, I definitely feel like the way I run my business is not at all conventional, but it works for me, and I feel like it's really it's like a new way of doing business. And I know a lot of us are doing it, but these conscious entrepreneurs who are being more intuitively led, it's doing life and business in a different way. And for me, it's about following the joy. So my inner guidance has said to me for years, follow the joy, follow the joy, follow the joy. And I find that as long as I'm following the joy and following my truth and I'm staying aligned, that everything else flows. So for me, my daily practice is first and foremost about getting in alignment with myself, into flow with myself, connecting to myself. And essentially it's about feeling good. So I actually spend quite a lot of time doing my dog. I'll get out in nature, I exercise, and I meditate, and I do my daily visualizations or manifestations for whatever I'm wanting to create. And the main thing about this practice is about me, my personality self, my ego getting out of the way. So there could be, I don't know, an ego need or desire to, let's say, make more money in your business or have a certain amount of clients or have a certain level of success. But I find that those ego desires can really block the very thing that you want to create. So my practice for me is about getting out the will, a channel of service, really showing up to share your gifts with the world and make a difference. So that's what I spend a lot of the first part of my day doing. And then what's so cool is from that place, I get very clear, intuitive guidance and inner knowings about what action I need to take. So action is very, very important, but it's action that's aligned rather than action my mind thinks I should be doing or my ego thinks I should be doing. So, and what's really, really cool is I find that then the action that I take from that aligned place, it flows with ease. So it doesn't feel like hard work. And it's usually kind of fast and effective from that aligned place. And what I find is if I'm ever going into something feeling like struggle or hard work, I know that I've fallen out of flow. So then I go back, do my little quick inner practice to get back aligned and back into flow again. And then the action that I take kind of flows with ease. So I guess my main thing is about really connecting to myself and also taking aligned action that's flowing with ease. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Because the thing is, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel like we have to do more all the time. And no matter how much we do, we could always be doing more. But when you really tune in and get super specific and you do what's really important right now, it's like all the energy and all the support just flows in that direction, so that that one step actually becomes really powerful and has a big impact, instead of just doing a lot of things. Because I think we've all tried the doing, and often it leaves us feeling a bit resentful or overwhelmed or sick. And it's rarely effective, especially since our clients are very intuitive and they can feel what energy we're in. So when we're pushing, I mean, we can all feel that, right? And when we're in flow and we're genuinely coming from a place of love and we're really in alignment, it's like everyone can feel that too. And it speaks much louder than words, right? When we promote or launch something or whatever it is that we're doing.
Absolutely. I think people are way more sensitive than they even realize. So there's obviously the intuitive, obviously sensitive, but I actually think one can feel energy, whether they're aware of it or not. They get a sense of someone, or they can feel their vibration. So this is why I think it's so important that you show up and truly are, because people can feel that anyways, or they can feel, even if it's unconsciously, if not aligned with yourself and your truth. So that's why I think it's a really a powerful and effective daily practice to get aligned with your truth and who you are.
Yeah, and it's a perfect reminder when we feel like we don't have time for that. Because sometimes we're like, oh, I don't have time to meditate, or I don't have time to do my energy clearing. But actually, when we do that, everything flows from that place. And so it's kind of like exercise, right? You think you don't have time, but then you do it and you feel amazing, and it kind of carries you through your day.
Yeah, exactly. And I find that when I do that, like my mind definitely, like I'll go into overwhelm and to feel like, oh my God, I guess I should do that. So what will happen, like with them, whatever. And I find that when I do my inner work and I get like calm down and I balance out again, there's clarity. So a lot of that, the to-do list, or, oh my gosh, there's so much to do, is mental or mind chatter that doesn't actually even exist. So when I do the inner work, all of that stuff calms and I get clarity of it. Right, that's the action you need to take. And the rest of it can melt away, because the mind loves to create a lot of story that's not necessarily very helpful or effective.
No, exactly. Because it's better to take one inspired action step in the right direction, instead of doing like 100, just fiddling around, doing things, not putting all of our energy into it or all of our attention. So yeah, definitely. And I know that in your business, you've been through like several phases and growth, times of big growth as well. So I would love to know if you can share some of like the big breakthroughs you've had in your business, or like big aha moments that have really shifted your business, or how you do things, or even your path within your business.
Goodness, there's been so many things, and it's an ongoing process. You know, I feel like as soon as I think I know what's happening, there's like the next thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's usually when I'm being invited to step up, to expand more, to expand into something more. The first thing I'll say is that growth for me is always very uncomfortable. So one of the things, I'm all about balance and alignment and feeling good, but I find that with growth, it's not always comfortable. So the first thing I had to learn was that to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that being uncomfortable is part of the process and it's okay. So that was my first thing. I guess the first big one was about being visible and showing up more in my business and sharing who I am publicly. That was one of my biggest fears. I had a lot of persecution fears, fear of judgment, or fear of being criticized. And it was very, very paralyzing. So it really affected action. I knew that I was supposed to be doing stuff in my business, but because I had so much fear about being judged, it paralyzed me. So the first big growth for me was about showing up and sharing, just sharing from the heart. And I remember some of the first videos I posted, my hand was shaking as I pressed, upload or publish or whatever it is. And that was it. It's like the willingness to be vulnerable and to share that vulnerability publicly for others to see. And I found that it's been amazing what's happened from that. Like, it really draws in the people that are aligned with your work when you share yourself. So that was the first big one. I have one more I'd like to share, but I'll just pause there for a moment.
No, that's great. I think it's a really big one, and especially for healers, intuitive coaches, anyone who's into that line of work. I think being visible can be really scary, and often it goes beyond the I don't know what to say or how to do things, or it's like deeply, deeply rooted fear. And I definitely had that too for years before I started my business. And I remember going to a healer a few years back, and she kind of retraced it to a memory where I was like being killed for and betrayed for sharing my work, because I couldn't figure out why I was so scared of it, because I live in a quite it's like a hippie area, and none of my friends would think it was really weird to do healing, but I just couldn't say it, and I didn't tell anyone, and even my friends didn't really know. And then kind of worked through that, and now it doesn't feel like a big deal anymore. But when you have those deeply rooted fears, it's so important to really go to the bottom and do the clearing, because otherwise it's gonna keep coming back. And I guess that's also why we're here, to do all those big clearings, and often clearings for like lifetimes and lifetimes of stuff, right? So it can be quite overwhelming and feel really full on sometimes, but it's just amazing when you come out on the other side, for that time at least, just how much it opens up and how much more we can embrace our own power. Because otherwise it's like we're always kind of second guessing ourselves and holding back. And when we want to have really prosperous businesses and reach like a big audience, we have to really embrace that power in a way that feels good to us and true.
Absolutely. It's really fascinating. And in that way, our businesses are part of our soul's growth and our soul's journey. Mm-hmm. And it's about your clients, and it's about serving, make a difference, but it's also about you. And so I find that when we're leading an intuitively led business, it's all going to be about our own growth and our own journey at the same time. So we'll have to face our biggest fears. And I found that it's an ongoing thing. There's always, whatever it is that you're going to do. I remember when I first writing my book was one of the hardest, most painful things, because it triggered so many fears for me. And yet it's about overcoming those fears and moving through them, and then you grow and expand with that. I found that like all the clearing work is so essential, and to clear the fears and do that energy work. And also one of the most effective ways to move through fear I found is taking action. So taking action into your biggest fear. So my biggest fear was making a video and posting it on YouTube, and actually doing that action and actually just doing it and then doing it again and doing it again and doing it again was the thing that actually helped me overcome my fear. So you just have to jump and do it. And then the more that you do something, the easier it becomes. And it's pretty obvious, but that's what I found. So I think what I was doing was I was waiting for the fear to go. So I was doing the inner clearing and the energy work and sort of like trying to get calm, and I couldn't get rid of the fear. And I realized, oh my God, you're just going to have to jump, girl. You're just going to have to do it. And that's the case with absolutely everything I've done in my business that's new. That sort of being, and that's what I mean about moving through your comfort zone and being the willing to be uncomfortable, and eventually it will get more comfortable. I promise you that. But yeah. So it's not easy. But as obviously, Karina, it's so worth it, because when the very thing that you're scared of is often the very area you need to go in, because that's actually going to create the greatest result for you in your business. So it's a fascinating thing that sometimes your greatest gifts lie in your greatest fear. So unfortunately, you just have to go through that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We've talked about this before, how I mean, I like doing the inner work, and I feel like I've been doing inner work for a long time, but if it wasn't for my business, I don't think I'd be doing this much as quickly as I have, because we have to move through our stuff or we're just going to stay stuck and we won't create. And it's like that tension that builds up when you don't do something about the fear and the resistance, because often sometimes we don't know it's fear, because it can feel quite valid. We have a great reason, or there's something around us or families or whatever that's the real reason. But it never is, and it builds this tension. And as scary as it can feel, once you've done it, it's like you're on the other side. And I find that not only have I done the thing that I thought was impossible to do, it opens up to all these other things that we could never imagine. And that's when we really get into that flow and we feel like the whole universe is supporting us. And these people pop up and new clients come and like money in unimaginable ways. Like, it's really part of tapping into the magic, but it's definitely not like the, just the wand and sitting at the beach and being cool and having fun all the time. Although there's a lot of joy as well in running these businesses, but it's like crazy stuff we do to get here.
It is. And it's like cosmic secret or a cosmic joke that is like through that resistance, or through your block, through your resistance, let's just say, that's where the magic lies. Like you said, you face it and you go through and all these amazing opportunities show up. It's really, and that's when it feels magical. And that's when it feels like magical manifestations. But actually it comes from you being very courageous and being willing to step into the unknown and do something new, do something you haven't done before. And it's hard. Like, this is why I think we need coaches and mentors. And like, that's what I do for my clients. I know that's what you do for your clients, Karina. Like, I think we need, and actually, Karina does that for me. I get support from her. So we need support, because when we're moving through this stuff, it can feel terrifying or paralyzing. It can be paralyzing sometimes. So getting support through this, I think, is essential. I really do. Or it makes it a lot easier, if nothing else.
Yes, definitely. And I'm super grateful for the support I get from you, Lara. And it's been going on for a few years now. Like, if I have to mention one thing that's been like the most important thing in my business, it's a great support network and great mentors, because there's so much information out there and we have access to a lot of stuff, like information, strategies, tools. But I find that the big important things to do is to have that support when you need it, because no matter how many times we've been through this, like the ups and downs and the fears and moving through it, it's like when you're in it, it can be really, really hard to get out. And I found that because when I started my business, I would do things on my own and I would get through eventually, but it would take a lot longer. And I feel like every time it would wear me down a bit. And if I hadn't reached out for support at that time, I'm not sure I would be where I am now, because it makes it so much easier. And when you have the right support, someone who really sees where you're at, someone who's been through the same things and who has that deep knowledge, it's like they can see our blind spots, because we can't see that for ourselves all the time, right? So it doesn't mean we hand over our power to someone else. It's just really having someone who's amazing at what they do support us through this, because it just changes everything. And it feels great to have support too, because I think for many of us, we're used to doing things on our own and maybe being the one that other people lean on, and the person other people come to for support. And for me, it took some training to ask for help, to know what I wanted, ask for help, and then receive it when it came to me. I know we've both been practicing that for a long time, right? Because sometimes we have really bad experiences from receiving help from people who were maybe meant well, but didn't really know how to support us. And that can really kind of set us back as well in our work.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, I would say I've been one of the world's worst receivers. And yet that's been learning how to receive. It's receiving money, it's receiving support, it's receiving love, it's receiving life. And it's very vulnerable. You know, it's very vulnerable to receive. I'm much more comfortable supporting others and, you know, being there for others, but to kind of be that kind of vulnerable receiving place, it's not as comfortable, but it's really, again, really is. So yeah, it's never boring, is it, this journey?
No, and each time you think you've stretched to the max, there's still something more. So it's exciting. Sometimes it's frustrating, and that's why it's also great to have like people to check in with, to kind of reassure yourself that this is normal, because I think we all go through these phases, and we sometimes wish that it was easier, and really, is it supposed to be like this? And yeah, this is how you do the big soul work, and you have like a conscious, intuitive, beautiful business, because it's really about growing and growing ourselves, growing our work, and it's quite magical and amazing, and sometimes it feels like it's like a whole world in its own way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's all worth it. But
Yes.
you know, it's like the greatest challenge and the greatest gift all wrapped up together.
Yes, definitely both sides of that. So, and I'm super excited because Lara is going to be one of the guest teachers again in my program, Embrace Your Purpose. So it's an intuitive business program for conscious entrepreneurs. And I basically just made a program for us, right? Like what I would have loved to have and what I continually use and give myself so that I can grow my business and not lose my mind and have fun, and for it to keep expanding in all areas. And so Lara's going to be talking about, well, not just talking about, because you actually do live energy work with the group, which I'm super grateful for. And you answer questions, and it's really like experiential rather than just giving information, because that's how I love things to be. And I love to do programs that are really filled with experiences where you get to do the things and to do the practices with support instead of just reading about them or getting more information. So I'm very, very happy that you're going to be part of this program again. We start in September, and so it's a 6-month-long program. It's a mastermind, and I share my favorite energy tools to really support you in connecting deeper with your purpose, with your business, with every part of your business, your clients, maybe a team if you have one, or if you want to call one in. So it's like a really deep inner journey. And when I see what the women who took it last time, what they're experiencing in their lives and in their businesses, I'm super excited and super grateful, because when you do the inner work and you get the support and you can really dive deeply into that and release the fears and all the programming and the old stuff, it just really helps you unleash your inner power and step into your purpose, so you can really do what you came here to do. And it's just beautiful support and a beautiful community, and everyone's usually super sweet and generous, and it's just been amazing. It's kind of like a mix between a business mastermind and like a women's circle. It's very warm and very quite intense and deep, so you do have to like that type of work, but it's really magical and fun and expansive. So there are going to be 2 guest teachers, so Lara and our friend Lisa Black, who will be talking about authentic marketing. So this business program is all about doing business in a way that feels aligned and on purpose. So because every part of our business can feel like sacred work and spreading love. It doesn't have to feel icky or weird, or you don't have to follow a formula or anything like that. It's really about doing things from the inside and out. So if you want to know more about my program or find out more about Lara, then I've got links below. And also if you want to find Lara's book, I actually have your book here. Ta-ta-ta-ta. It's a really great book. If you want to learn more about Lara's manifestation techniques that I use all the time, by the way, then you can get your book online on her website. And I don't know, do you want to share anything more, Lara, before we finish this interview?
I do, because I've learned about like Karina's program is amazing. I've watched some of the women on the last one, all the shifts and changes that they've made, which has been really awesome. But there's two things that you can't really, market, so to speak. That one is Karina's magical energy. So when you work with her, you are held in a really amazing energy and vibration that is very transformational in a very gentle and loving way, but very, very powerful way. So I just wanted to mention that. But the other thing is that what I've learned about investing in yourself, that when you make an investment, you're making a choice to grow and to change. So by committing to and signing up for Karina's program, you're saying yes to change, you're saying yes to transformation, you're saying yes to connecting more to your purpose. So all sorts of magical, energetic stuff happens behind the scene just by you showing up to this program. And that's a really, really, really cool thing that you can't really put in a bullet point and you can't really box, because it will be your own unique experience. But I know that anytime I've invested in myself, amazing growth happens. So I really, really encourage you, if you're getting that call, to jump in, because there'll be a part of your mind that's going, I don't know if I can afford it or whatever. But actually that's really just the kind of protection coming up before you take a leap into the next level.
Thank you so much, Lara. That's so sweet of you. And I totally agree. I mean, investments can be really scary. How do we know if it's worth it? Is it really right for me? But when you keep feeling that call from inside, every time I've said yes, it's like sometimes I get results even before the program or the mentoring starts, because it's like you're saying yes, and then all these gifts just kind of come your way, and it's amazing. I can't quite explain how it works, but it's like every time saying yes to yourself is just really, really powerful.
Yeah, and also with how manifestation works, like I know that one of the blocks that can come up is around money, for example, with investing. Say yes to something like that, it's like the magic to make it all work. And it's not really about the money, it's about what that money represents. So it's sort of, this is again where you can't, it's hard to sort of put into a neat and tidy box, but when you make that commitment to yourself, that everything flows from that place, including money, and it's quite exciting.
Yes, for sure. Oh, thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to get to play with you again this fall in my program. And thank you for everyone watching this as well. If you have any questions to me or to Lara, please reach out and we'd be happy to get back to you. So thank you. And bye.
Thank you. Lots of love.